Hello everyone, welcome to my live stream. My name is Denise Hutchins and I'm broadcasting to you from Studio Mikarts. Our charity of the month is Animal Alliance Asia, and there are a couple ways you can help me, help them, help the animals. The most direct way is take a look at their website. I posted a link in the chat. There's also a link in my Twitch description and in the YouTube description of the recording of this stream. You can go there, find out more about them, and make a donation. But even if you can't make a donation, you can still help them. Just watch my streams and bring your friends, bring your friends to my stream, because I'll be making a donation at the end of the month based on my unique viewers count. I will be, let's see, I gotta double check. I think this might be the last stream of the month because, yeah, this is the last, no, well, this isn't the last stream. This is the last streaming week. And hello, Sarah! How are you? So glad to see you first thing in this stream. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining me. I got distracted by my own intro here, but yeah, this is going to be the last streaming week of March. So please bring your friends to my streams, get the unique viewers count up so I can make as big a donation as possible. And let's see. Next it is Wednesday, which means it's time for illustration, and I'm going to be working on my onomatopoeia bees. I've been working on this for quite a while. This is number 10. This is work session number 10 on this. At least this is live streamed work session number 10. I can't remember if I started this on live stream or if it was a little bit off stream and then I started working on it live. But either way, I've been working on it for quite a while. I need a sip of water real quick. My throat's suddenly very dry. I had a feeling that would happen, so I made absolutely sure that I got my water bottle next to me. So what I've got here are my sketches. This is just some of my sketches. These are the ones that have notes that are useful for me as I'm working on the final drawing. So I've got these available to reference. I'm just going to set them over to the side. And then this is the final composition sketch that I created, which I've been working from. I'm going to set that up in front of me and use my little SpongeBob Burger Mobile to keep it from sliding down, because it likes to slide down and go boom. Finally, here's the full illustration, full size. Well, actually, it's not full size because eventually I want this to be 11 by 17 inches. And this is smaller. This is 12.75 by 8.25, so that's a little bit smaller, but it's the same ratio, so that if I scan it in, as I usually do, at double what is considered a good DPI, then you can create up to twice as big and without any loss of quality or, no pixelization or blurriness or anything. So this is what I'm going to be working on today. And I'm trying to get my camera set up. I know we're still in that part where you can't even really see what I'm working on because this blue pencil. I'll hold it up real quick for a review of what we've done so far. I'm just in the middle of adding the flowers. And once I finish with that, we've got all the bees, we've got most of the flowers. Once all of this blue pencil sketch stuff is done, we'll be able to start inking, and then you'll actually be able to see what I'm working on. Hooray! So there's the close-up view so you can get an idea of what it looks like so far. And so here's my sketch kit. It has pretty much everything I need for any kind of drawing, or at least it has the tools I use the most. And oops, wrong side. I want my Pilot Color NO 0.07 millimeter mechanical colored pencil. It has this blue lead in it. I mean, it's not lead, but graphite lead isn't lead either. It's graphite. We call it lead for some reason. Probably because we used to use lead and then we were like, oops, that's poisonous. We don't use lead anymore, but it's still in there. I wonder if that's true. Or maybe there's one of those things where it's just a coincidence and the words happen to be the same, you know? That happens as well. Anyway, it's time to start drawing. So we just have a few more flowers to add. The middle part is really full. We could add more, maybe right here, or one coming out from under a bee. So we don't have much overlap with the flowers yet, except for this little fellow really in the thick of it, all over this flower right here. But otherwise, there's not any overlap of bee and flower. Well, there's one single bit of flower going over a tiny bee here. So I think that'll be a good place to start. Because we do have, oops, sorry, I'm bumping my little camera. We do have a flower down here at the bottom in the sketch. So let's just add one in right here. And it could be underneath this bee that's coming into the scene from the bottom. Yeah, that's what I think. It used to be lead, and then we just still call it that, even though it's not. For instance, I think it's the same kind of thing as Kleenex. I know not everybody does, but I pretty much call it Kleenex. I try to call them tissues, if I remember. The Kleenex is the brand name. We don't even get Kleenex brand. But it's one of those things where, and then in Britain, I believe they call it hoovering. And that comes from Hoover vacuums. So they call it hoovering for vacuuming the floor. And it comes from the name brand. So I bet it's the same thing with the pencil. It used to be lead. It's stuck, even though it's not lead anymore. Or not necessarily lead. Hopefully no one's actually using lead to write, but who knows? Another drink of water. I think it's because I haven't been talking all that much today. That's what usually happens, because I just work by myself all day. I talk here and there. But then when I'm live streaming, I'm suddenly talking, and I'm not stopping, and my throat's like, what is going on? And that's why I need a bunch of water at the beginning of the stream. Okay, so what I'm going to do is open my iNaturalist app. Search, we're going to go to the Explore section. Right now it's on my location, but I'll just remove that so we'll get anything. And what we're looking for is wavy leaf thistle. Wavy leaf thistle. Search for that. So it's exploring all. The circle is spinning. I don't know if this is working. Alright, let's try again. Go to Explore. I don't want it to search under my location, though. Why does it default to that? Search. I didn't have so much problem last time. I wonder why. Oh, I see. When I chose undefined for the location, it removed my search term. So that's why it struggled. Okay, let's try this again. Now it actually says wavy leaf thistle in the search bar. It's not working. Okay, I'll try wavy leaf thistle, and instead of my location, I'll put USA. Okay, you can't just put USA apparently. What if I put United? This is crazy. I didn't have this trouble last time. Okay, if I put United States, it allows it to go in that. But it cleared out my search. What the heck? Maybe the app got an update. Because it wasn't this hard last week. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. Some people call all tissues Kleenex. Yep. Like my grandparents in Texas. Lots of people in Texas, when they say Coke, so I still remember this. We went to visit once, and we went to a restaurant, and they were like, what kind of Coke do you want? And I was like, oh, they mean what kind of soda do you want? Because in California, where I spent the younger years of my childhood, so I was born in Texas, but only lived there for a few years, then moved to California and spent most of grade school in California. So I learned soda. And then when I moved to Idaho, some people called it pop. And I was like, what? I was in 5th grade. I didn't know what they were talking about. And I actually said once to someone, do you mean soda? Because I legitimately didn't know what they were talking about. From the context, I could tell they were talking about a drink. And then so the same thing happened when I was visiting my grandparents in Texas one time. They call all soda Coke. So it's the same thing. And there's all kinds of instances of that. I have a sort of collection in my mind of that kind of thing. I actually love it. I think it's so fascinating. So I got the search to work, and now I'm just scrolling through looking for a photo top down of a flower from the wavy leaf thistle. I'm trying to use one that I have not referenced before. That way we have a nice wide variety. So you have your ranking. It sounds like number 1, you want it to be soda. Number 2, pop is okay. And Coke is like, eh. That's what I get from your message. Having it called soda in my formative years, we'll call them. Definitely my default is soda in my brain. But I'm less judgmental. I was kind of judgmental before. Like, what the heck are these people thinking? Now I'm not judgmental. I'm like, oh, it's different. It's cool and different. It's nice to have variety. Plus, it makes me feel special to be able to recognize a different dialect term for something. Yeah. It would be confusing if you're like, you want, but I guess it wouldn't be a problem because what they mean is what kind of soda. So I think the only way Tom would get not what he wanted is if he asked for Coke. So if you ask for Pepsi, they know what it is. Here's your Pepsi Coke. I mean, even Pepsi is called Pepsi Cola, so you don't drink soda, just easily confused. Aw, I'm not laughing at you. I'm just surprised by that comment. Oh, let's do this one. This one's nice. Here's a little top down. Flowers is slightly at an angle, but that's good because flowers don't just grow straight up. They grow at different angles. All right. Found me flower reference. Let's add it to the scene. Right about here. We don't want it too big because we've got so much attention. With these blooms are so attention grabbing, like fireworks, like natural fireworks. We don't want it too big. We're going to make it pretty small. We'll say it's fairly far down in the scene, like elevation wise. So there's lots of these little tuber like petals. I don't know exactly what they are, if they're sepals or I can't remember the different terms for for the flower parts, but and all that really matters is that we get the idea that this is lots of the same flower in this scene. So even if it's not exactly right, it's just about the gist. Get the gist. I'm going to define this outside part. The bees are going to end up being fuzzy, but I am reinforcing this line on the edge, even though that's not the line that I'll be inking, just so that I don't lose it here with all this other stuff going on. This is pretty good. Another flower added. Hopefully this doesn't take too long and we can actually get to inking today. I feel like we should definitely be able to get to inking tomorrow. And my hope is to finish inking this week if possible so that I can send the complete inked piece as Patreon awards. But what else we need? We need something in this corner. I had a little cluster of 3 flowers in my sketch, but this flower ended up being really big. It wasn't even in the original sketch. So I think I'll do something like this. Or maybe, yeah, we'll have it in the corner a little bit, but not anywhere near as big as it was. We'll have more space here, but just something to be in the corner. In fact, I'm going to make this smaller looking. This looks like a huge flower. Let's make it a little smaller, actually. Farther down in the scene. So I'm just using my kneaded eraser to gently erase that line I did. Let's do a different one. And I'll use the same reference, I'll just use the other side because we used the right side of this reference. So we'll use the left side now, which actually looks significantly different because it's sort of pointing out a lot on this side for whatever reason. It's pretty good. So easy when they're so small. Not very much work required. I did have multiple flowers in this section, but for now I'll leave it with one and we can look at it again once everything is finished. Here's a big space. In the original sketch I have a big flower underneath this bee, and then this bee is actually on a flower, and I wrote on flower. So let's tackle that next. So first I'll just draw a flower for the bee to be on, a placeholder. I won't draw the details yet because there might be a little overlap from this flower that's next to it. And then we're getting some nice overlap between the flowers and the bees. So like I said, only here, a tiny bit here and a tiny bit here is the only place where the, I know of course this bee being on top, but so far they're fairly well separated, which is not necessarily a good thing. So maybe what I'll do here, I'm actually going to turn my phone sideways, and I'll use what is technically the bottom of this flower, but I'll use it as the side, reference for the side of this one. And there's so many of these long tubes over here that it looks like one unit. So that's how I'll draw it, even though I know technically it's a whole bunch of these little trumpet flowers. But just the same way that when you're drawing hair on a human or a dog or a cat or anybody with hair really, you don't, at least in my style of drawing, you don't draw each individual strand of hair. You draw chunks of hair. So we're going to do the same thing with this flower. Chunks of flower. Making these ones longer. Now that I've drawn the rest, these don't seem long enough. Same with these. Alright, another one done. So let's look for a different flower. Use that one for 3 different flowers. Oh, here we go. Another top-down one. Oh, this one looks totally different. Oh, unfortunately, I can't really see the details, so look at a different one. Oh, here's one. Beautiful. That's what it looks like. It's got some buds next to it too, so we can use those. So this is going to be the flower that this bee is on. Some of the flowers I've looked at have been relatively evenly spaced, but here in some areas I'm seeing groupings of these flowers and their tubes. So I'm drawing this one a little bit different than in previous ones, but that's exactly why I look for lots of different reference if I can. If it's common enough that I can find lots of different images. It's so easy to think that flowers just always look like one thing, but just like with human beings or cats or any other form of life, there's lots of variation even within the same species. That's good. That's good. Another flower done. So I suppose I'll just pop in one of these buds that haven't yet bloomed. What I had in the sketch is right up here. It does fill in the space nicely, but I could put it underneath this bee as well. But maybe that's a little too much going on. So we have this one covering, this one covering. So yeah, let's just put it on the top. And then we could just use the reference as is, because it's right up there. So here's the bud, and it's angled in this direction. And this one has lots of spikes coming out. Alright, little bud added to the scene. It's a bud because it's a flower bud, and it's a bud because it's this flower's buddy. Next, there's lots going on in the bottom half of the scene. Tons going on right here. Ah, and I had another one. I wanted this one on a flower. So let's work over here. I think maybe adding more up here will be a good next step. So I did have one meant to be under this fellow. But if I put this one in, oh, this one is the one that's on the flower. This is the one on the flower. Okay. This one ended up being in that space, but so we need a little flower for this bee to be on. It's not quite the same as my sketch. I'm looking up at my sketch over here in front of me. Adding blood to the scene. You know that's not right. Woo. Studio Mikarts after dark. No way. Intense. Okay. Here is the flower that this one's going to be on. This bee right here is meant to be flying. Maybe I'll move this actually, because I don't think it's drawn small enough to be far enough away from this flower to have clearance for its wings, you know? So I'm going to scoot this flower over, actually. More like this. I have a little bit under this up higher bee. That works. Thinking about where I want to place my next flower. Could put it right here. This is such a nice big open space. Could also put one right here. Or maybe a bud. A bud, not a blood. To be a, not a twin, a pair with this one. It does feel really good to put a flower right here, so let's put a flower here. And let's put one right here. What does that look? Oh, that feels pretty good. Seeing how the scene, this area gets filled. It's pretty good. Okay. So let me look for reference for that. we could show, at least in this corner, some of these spent flowers. So they get dry and it's almost like a dandelion. They're kind of fluffy. It might be nice to have some flowers at the end of their life because we've got some that are about to bloom or even earlier, still developing. And then of course we've got these huge open blooms. But so far we don't have any that are done with. And I am starting to see some of those type of pictures. So far they are from the side. So I might have to use my imagination a little bit. But I'll scroll and maybe I'll find a top-down view. Oh, here we go. Nice. Thank you to the person who submitted this picture. This is great. There's a really dead one. I don't think I'll put that much because it's falling down. It looks really sad, but we could put this cool, fluffy looking one. Have something slightly different. And we can put some throughout the scene. These were the early bloomers. And now they're done blooming. This is also rather nice for me because it's a little bit easier to draw because it's just fluff. Pet hair on my page. Don't want to be drawing on a pet hair. Might get stuck under my pencil and cause unwanted lines. Even though the speech bubble is meant to be here, I'm just going to keep drawing underneath it because I might change it a little bit once I create it. This is just a sketch. I won't be drawing this. I'll create it in Clip Studio Paint later. So I didn't do that for all of my pieces in this series so far, but I think it's a good idea to just go ahead and keep drawing underneath it, even though that part might get covered up later. Okay, that's pretty good. An old used fluff one. This is a different flower. It actually has white petals. I'll use it for this one. Of course, it's getting so small now, I'm really going to be simplifying. Yay! Go so fast when they're smaller. Look for another one. I'm keeping my eye out for some of those spent blooms. Oh, here's one that's mid-bloom. I haven't done this yet. Like it's just barely starting. Let's do this one. This is from the side, but I'll try to use my imagination to improvise what it looks like. To imagine what it looks like from the top. So we've got this fluffy stuff in the middle. And the trumpet flowers surrounding it. And then you can still see the spiky green part. Hopefully I remember what I'm drawing when I come to ink it later. This is very complicated. I might have to pick and choose which lines I actually put ink on because I don't want it to become a big jumbled mess, you know? That's good enough, I think. And it's just on the edge, so we can let it be really generalized. Oh, this is a beautiful picture. It's taken during golden hour for sure. Oh, there's a little bug on it. And the person's finger. I wonder what kind of bug this is. Look like an ant. It's from the side though. I was just so taken by how beautiful it looked because of the golden light on top. Is this a spent one? It is. It's from the side, but I think I'll use my imagination again. No, maybe we'll do a spent one right here. Or is that too many on the same side? Maybe I should put it over in a different area. But then we would have two spent ones up here. Maybe we'll put it down here. Somewhere around here. Maybe like right here. Yeah, let's put it right here. In fact, we'll put it underneath both of these bees. Oh, but maybe that's too big. Blast it! I have to think about so many things. That's too big for how small this bee is. Needs to be smaller because it's lower down than both. Both this one and this little one. If you're hearing that snoring, it's Aoife as usual. She does it so much now I forget to mention it in case anyone new is watching and is like, what the heck? It's not me. I'm not simultaneously drawing and snoring. Okay, we've got to make it smaller. So I'll just have it be under the big B because that's how small it has to be. So it's something like this. Oh, okay. You can't usually hear. Okay, good. Well, just in case. I don't want it to be weird or distracting. She's just snoozing away down under my table to my left. She's got her big cushy bed under there. Alright, so this spent one is hanging over to the side. So we'll make it facing over to the side, but just do the best possible to draw it from the top. Then we've got spikies from that outside part. They're all dry and brown, but they are there. Actually, we're going to make it a lot bigger because it pokes out way farther than this spiky underneath. I'll redo this part. That's pretty good. It's really close to being a tangent right there, but maybe after the fact when I get it digitized, I'll move this B a tiny bit down so that it's not so close right there. For now, we'll leave it. Alright, so there's still one flower to add right here. I don't want there to be a crazy amount of the spent flowers. I might add one more, maybe up here, and then it's a sort of V effect pointing down toward the middle where our attention is meant to be, but for now, looking for more top-down, regular flower photos. Oh, does this one have a bee on it? Oh, it does. Too bad it's blurry, though. Or maybe that's a spider. I can't tell. Because it's blurry. Oh, too bad this isn't. This is so interesting. Maybe I'll just go ahead and use it. It's not quite all the way top view, but look at how cool and different that is with that swirling effect that's happening as it blooms. That's cool. Well, where do I want a swirling? Right here? Yeah, we'll use it for this one. Use it for this one. So we've got that core. And then there's even more to it than in some of the other photos we've seen. It's not just, it's like got a indent, and then it's kind of like a volcano shape. And then these big trumpet flowers are coming out in that interesting spiral shape. And we can see the spiky green part. Spike. See where I can add a spike without just adding way too many lines. Alright, that's enough. I don't want to overdo it. I'm trying to get the same vibe of, there's big groups sometimes, but there's also areas where there's lots of space in between. I think that's probably good enough. So how many more flowers do we want to add to the scene? Getting really close to break time too. It feels like just this corner is lacking. Everything else, I've got this sort of nice organic vibration happening. I don't know if it's visible on the stream because of the blue pencil, but everything feels really good except this corner. So I'm thinking about whether I would just want to do the obvious, which is put a flower right here, like a vignette. This might be a little bit too obvious though, because we've kind of already done that here and here. Might be a little too repetitious. Could do something similar to this, where we've got it under the speech bubble. Or we could add a couple more. We could have it more under the speech bubble than this one and hardly going out the edges. I think I'll do that. So we're having a flower right here. And maybe it touches the edges, but for the most part, it's contained within the frame. Okay, last reference. Did I look at this one already? Oh, we'll just go ahead and use it. I don't think we've used this one yet. Looks just like a firework. Nature's fireworks. They're not nearly as scary for the animals. A little bit of overlapping tubes. I'm having the same experience as I did with the bees, which by this point I feel much more comfortable simplifying what the flowers look like in order to get the essence of them on the page. I'm not having to worry about getting the shapes right. I've got the basic shapes down, figured out. Yeah, that happened pretty quick for us too. It's unfortunate. Even the charities that I support, I have several charities that I give monthly donations to, and a few of them continue to spam me with mailers, and I'm like, this is So right now I'm actually working on boundaries as part of my mental health journey. That's what I've been working on recently. And it's made me realize, like, this is not okay. This is attempting to enter a boundary that I am not okay with them entering. I'm already donating monthly. It's set and it just automatically goes. So please stop asking me for more money. I've unsubscribed from several charity email lists for the same reason, because instead of just being stories about, you know, this is what your donation has helped us do, that is there too, but there's always the extra ask every time, and I'm tired of it. And it's something I've learned this week is called emotional labor, and it's emotional labor just to open those mailers, open those emails, read them, spend that time, spend that mental energy on them. So I'm like, no, I'm going to continue donating monthly because I believe in what you do and I believe you're effective at what you do it, but I am not looking at your extra asks anymore. They're going straight in the recycle bin, both digitally and physically. Yeah, it's all automated and you're on. Yep, and they get updated too. They get updated. Yeah, that's why a lot of charities, when I first started deciding to do monthly donations, I used those sites like Charity Navigator and shoot, there's a few other ones. That's the only one that comes to mind by name. But I check those out because they will have analysis of, you know, where do they spend the money that you're donating? How much of it is spent on mailers and that kind of thing. One of the first charity I ever supported, and I still support with a monthly donation, well, animal charity, I've done other ones, but I don't support them anymore, is Predator Defense, which is defending native predators in the Pacific Northwest, such as wolves, cougars, bobcats, etc., and they don't do any of that stuff. The only time they do send a mailer is like twice a year, like every 6 months. And it's literally just an update on the state of things and what they've been doing. And so I don't mind getting their mailers because I know it's just going to be a news update and they're not wasting money sending 1 million people stuff instead of spending that on helping the animals. That's why I'm donating. I want to help the animals. Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. Just for privacy and for recycling purposes. Here we're allowed to, at least I'm pretty sure, we're allowed to just put the plastic windows in. Dang, I sure hope so, because that's what I've been doing. Just pop it right in there. If there's something really hard, like it feels like there's a plastic card or something inside, then I'll open it to make sure that that's out of there, because that's definitely not recyclable in the regular recycles. All right, y'all. This is perfect timing. I think I am done with the sketch. Well, it's not sketch. I'm done with the blue lines for the drawing. This is not sketch. This is the final drawing. And it's break time. So let me give you a look before we go on break of everything I added. I mean, the best look I can, considering that it's not picked up very well by the camera. I love how we've got this really detailed close-up one. But then these bees are so big that they're obviously even closer to the viewer. I think this is going to be so cool when it's done. So nice. So I'm going to go on break, and I encourage everyone else to do the same. I am going to start inking when we get back, so that's going to be really exciting. But for now, I am going to put my be right back sign on and mute my mic. I'll be back in about 5 minutes. everyone, I'm back. I hope you had a great break. It's time to start inking this. Hooray! Oh, what was that, Chappy? Chappy just had a clear throat or something. Chappy's my little dog. She's on this side of me. Oh, now she's curling back up. Alright, I'm getting out my pens. I already did little test marks to see how big and what type of marks they make. So now I know exactly, is this the zig? So here's the zig liner, 005, and Copic multi-liner brush pen. So we've got the Copic SP. Oh, the graphite, that's the biggest one. That's this one. Okay, I think this is everything. So here's the graphite, Copic SP. This is the Kuretake, I believe. Yes. Which is the same brand as Zig, but this is Kuretake Zig. So it's a different line under the same. Oh, we can't really see it. Kuretake. They're both Kuretake, but this one is a sign pen, and then this one's a liner pen, I think. Okay. There's still more, so let me see. Graphite, Copic SP, Kuretake. Zig. Am I missing something? 1, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, there's 2 zigs. Okay, this one. Is this also a zig? Oh, this is also a zig. There's this one there. Zig. Alright, so this is the zig brush. Doesn't say what it is. It was called Cocoiro. Whoa. I remember. There. So I can remember what it's supposed to be. Zig Cocoiro pen. There. And there's Winsor & Newton liner pen. This is it. Black. This one is gray. So I have 2 that look like this. But this one is cool gray. What we want is the black one. So there we go. All the pens that we want for this are now out. And I put them in order from big to small. So we'll definitely start inking from what in this scene would be top down. So the biggest, closest to the viewer elements are going to be inked first. I'm actually going to go back on this iNaturalist app and search for the Hunt's Bumblebee so that I can get a nice idea of how to ink the fuzziness. Because you might say that these flowers that I've drawn are kind of fuzzy, but this is more dense. So I'm going to look at a few. Yeah, look at this fellow. Gorgeous. So it's much more dense lines and shorter than what we have in these flowers. So I'm glad I looked this up because I didn't want to get confused by having done these puffy flowers and then start inking the bees and end up inking them in a way that looks more like the flowers than the bees. We definitely want them to look different. So I'm just going to leave this photograph up so I can use it for pretty much everything. I can even see, this is such a great photo, I can even see the hairs on the legs for the few bees that have their legs visible. So most of them are flying, which is on purpose because we need them to be flying in order to make the buzz sounds. And the buzz sounds is the whole point of this illustration. So with inking, the thicker the lines, the closer it seems to the viewer. So I'm going to start with my biggest pen. I'm actually going to practice a little bit. Okay. Get an idea of how the lines will come out. A lot of dry brush effect with this one, which is fine. I think it looks pretty good. Here's that little practice line I did. Yeah, not bad. Oh, Chappie, please don't bark. She's probably gonna bark because someone's opening the door. Probably my husband, but we have jingle bells on the front door. And whenever they go off now, Chappie barks. They're just like, it's just literally a string of jingle bells hanging from the door handle. So whenever we close the door, it goes jingling. And whenever Chappie hears it now, she's like, I gotta bark. I gotta bark. No, please don't. Please don't bark. Cannot stop the bark. She managed to hold it in, though. What a good girl you are. You're such a good girl, Chappie. She's listening intently, though. Her ears are straight up. Poking straight up. Okay, for some reason, it feels like it'll be easier to start with this sideways. I'm going to go with this bee first. The topmost part of the bee is these sort of shoulder areas. These are much different from the brush pens that I had been using. So we might end up looking a little bit different from here on compared to the inking that was done in the previous pieces, but I think it's fine because it's the only expectations I'm trying to meet with this series is my own. So I think it's fine. I'm gonna have to put these pens elsewhere. I'm just gonna put them in here, but on top. I'm glad that you put that in there. It does make me feel better to see someone else say that. I always have to tell myself that. Like, you know what? I'm the artist. I can do what I want. It's good to have someone else say it too. Reinforce it. Yeah, I do not want to buy more of the same when I had so many other brush pens. It's just such a waste. Now let's see. This top part is fuzzy. But is this part fuzzy? I think it should be. I have to remember that I simplified these bees to make them extra cute. So it's not going to look anatomically exactly the same as the real bee. I was chibifying the bees. So exciting getting this inked. It's so exciting. It took so long to get to this point. It's just looking so fuzzy. It's so fuzzy. Look at it. It's so fuzzy cute. Oh my goodness. Alright, now the top part. So this part is not fuzzy. At least it really doesn't seem like it. It seems more smooth. But then the upper part is more fuzzy wuzzy. The whole body is done. Now we just need to add the antenna. The antenna I shall use not the brush pen, but the larger. Man, I'm trying to keep these in order. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is actually close my sketch kit and put them here. I want to keep them in size order so that I don't have to think about it. So we've got the graphic. The Copic one should be bigger, and Kuretake, then the Zig Kuretake, and this. We're going to use this one, the larger of my two fine liner pens. Yeah, bring the camera down closer, the main camera, now that you can actually see what I'm working on. First B complete. Might add a little bit right here to extend this black part a little further. There. And the wings, of course, will be added. Here's what it looked like in the context of the entire piece. This one is actually looking down. So this is the top of the image. Look, there's one more bee of this size on this side. So let's ink that next, and we'll do it the same exact way. So fluffy, yes. I hope they look really cute by the end when they're all colorful. And these lines will not stay black. They'll be a darker version of whatever main color the bee ends up being. So hopefully it ends up being super cute by the end. I realize my little camera's not really showing anything useful right now. Are these main character bees? Yes, these are the two main character bees. I forgot about that. Yes. Yes, main character bees. BA and BB. Yes, indeedy. So they're closest to the viewer. They gotta go first. Have the biggest lines. The most attention. Oh, I love it.
I love it. I love how fuzzy it is. It's so fun to draw, too.
So we're finally past the part that's kind of anxiety-inducing, where you're making decisions and there's no right decision, but there might be a better decision, and you've just got to do what you can in the moment and figure out this puzzle that you've created for yourself. But now, it's figured out, it's decided on, for better or worse, it's just time to finalize it. So, it's much less stressful and much more fun at this point, because now it's just more technical work. Just get the ink on the page, get the lines done. So I'm feeling really rejuvenated just doing this. Even in the first half of this stream, I was still experiencing that, this is that part where it's really hard. It's really hard to keep going because of the decision fatigue and all this kind of stuff. This isn't that smooth of a line, but I'm gonna fix that in Photoshop later. I do that kind of thing with this series all the time. If the line isn't quite how I want it, just leave it. We're gonna fix it in Photoshop. I would like this to be more round. Instead, it's got a little dent in the head. So we won't worry about that. We'll just leave it as is and fix it later. Yeah, it's so hard. When I was doing a lot of research for entrepreneurial stuff to figure out how to create a creative career, I learned that decision fatigue is so real that as a business person, it's a bad idea to offer too many options to your customers, except in extremely rare cases where that's sort of the draw. The example it gave was a study that showed that if people just had vanilla, strawberry, or chocolate ice cream to choose from, people made decisions and more purchases. There were more, it was like an ice cream shop where people would go in and get a scoop or whatever. And then the exception to the rule was this ice cream shop, I think in Canada. I don't know if it's still in operation, but at the time of the book's writing, it had like 200 flavors of ice cream, and that was its thing, was that it had 1 million flavors. So that was the exception to the rule. But in general, the studies were showing that having less choices actually led to better business because you weren't giving your customers decision fatigue, because eventually you just decide to do nothing. And in terms of illustration and art making, deciding to do nothing means procrastinating and doing something else other than the artwork that you want to make. So it's really tough to get through that, but thanks to live streaming, I have found a solution for me. Might not work for everyone, but it sure as heck works for me. Okay, the two biggest bees are done. I kind of want to, this line is sort of ends. Let's make sure it connects here because it's supposed to be going underneath there. We'll do a little bit more detail work later for the ink, but that was really bugging me, so I'll take care of it now. So we're just going to start looking for next biggest bee, next biggest bee. Well, I guess next smallest bee, and then keep working down. I don't think we will use this pen anymore because there's nothing in the scene that's as close to the viewer as these two. So that's all we're going to use this for. So I'm actually just going to put it away so I don't have to think about it. Boop. Let me take another drink of water. Ah! Nice. Alright, I think the next biggest bee is this one. Well, next smallest, because we're going big to small. The next smallest is this one. So let me test my Copic SP. Yeah, it's actually not much smaller than the Graphite. And you can even see, oh, you can't actually see that. You can even see that over here in my little test section in the margin. But we'll use this. We might use this for this bee and maybe this bee, but I think that'll probably all we use this size for too. Because it's just, yeah, I don't even think I'll use it for this bee. I don't know, they're about the same size. It's hard. Oh no, decision fatigue. Well, the nice thing with this series of illustrations is that I decided from the beginning that I would color it with, if you're hearing that noise, it's Chappie scratching her bed. She's trying to fluff it up for herself. I'm watching her. It's entertaining. She just shook off. Oh, she's scratching it some more. She's trying to get the fluff back into the middle. That better for you? She's swirling around and she laid down in a tiny little bundle. Okay. She's good. Anyway, remember what I was talking about? Oh, yeah. I decided from the beginning that I wanted to color these with digital media, so that means that I can fix all the lines however I want. Just do that at the same time. Trying to keep my cameras adjusted so they're showing interesting stuff. See if I can get this bee's head to be relatively round. I have to fix it in Photoshop too. You did it! Hooray! Alright. Oh, what size? I've got this teeny tiny zig, or I've got the Winsor & Newton one. It's not that much in the middle. Well, I'll use the Winsor & Newton one. I love when they make them so small and tuck in their leggings. Yeah. Yeah. Cats are loves. And dog, yeah, we even call Aoife either croissant or cinnamon bun. Because they round up so much. This is so roundy. Yep, everybody's cute when they curl up. Even the pigeons are cute, how they loaf up. Pigeons loaf. One, two, three, four, five. Yeah, that's all right. I think they're about the same size. This bee and this bee are really close in size, so I'll go ahead and use the Copic on this bee too. think I shall use a smaller pen on the wings, which I should do first because they're the next tallest thing. I'm going to use a tiny pen though because they're so delicate. I want to get that across with the ink itself by using a really thin pen. I have to concentrate really hard here, so that's why I've gone quiet. The wings are so hard. It's the same as with birds. Oops, my pen got caught on the space between the two pages. I'm gonna have to clean this up in Photoshop because there's all these little dots where I've had my pen catch on the page. Whew! Yay! And I'm so glad I used a tiny pen for that. That looks really good. Yeah. Okay, back to the fuzzy wuzzy. Woo! Okay, now we just need the details, the legs, antenna, etc. The legs are actually fuzzy, at least on the top part, so I'm going to use maybe this zig. Yeah, I'll use this zig pen, the Cocoiro. And we just have one antenna showing. And this pen keeps drying up even though there's tons of ink in it. I'm not sure what to do about that. So you can see how much ink is left in the cartridge. It's quite a bit, but it was coming out fine, but now it keeps being dry. I'm not sure what to do. And I always keep this extra cap on it. To try to keep it moistened, but it's Okay, I think I've revived it. We'll see. Nope. Heck. Why won't it draw? There we go. It's coming back to life. Yay! This line's still a little weak. There, that's better. What the heck, pen? Come on, I'm relying on you here. Maybe if I store it, tip down. So this is actually at an angle, my table here. So it's a drafting table. So I'm gonna have it tip down here so that perhaps the ink will flow into the tip and revive it. All right, we're done with this size pen. There are no more B's big enough to require this size. So the next size down is this Kuretake sign pen. Okay, got an idea how big it is. What's the next smallest B? These two are really similar. So I'll do these two with this size. One, two, three, four. Okay, so this should be fuzzy too. 4 layers of fuzzy. And we use the zig, I think, for the antenna here. Keep them nice and small and delicate. Now this upper B, turn this over so it's easier to access. Really pleased with the progress I'm making today. Feel really confident that after another day's work I will be able to finish the ink lines and get them digitized. Since next week I won't be live streaming, I am taking 2 weeks off for my birthday. Yay! I'm looking forward to next weekend, especially not this upcoming weekend, but the weekend after that, going on a trip with one of my close friends here, and we're going to be staying in a fancy resort hotel and doing some hiking and using the amenities at the hotel. They've got a hot tub and a swimming pool, and there's all kinds of cool stuff within walking distance. My thing I'm looking forward to most is trying the all-vegan restaurant that's in the area. It's just like a 5-minute walk away from the hotel. It looks really good. So I'm really looking forward to that birthday trip. But before that, I want to get Patreon rewards out for March since I'm taking 2 weeks off. Might redraw this second antenna because it ended up really, really thin. Might redraw at least one half of it so it's as thick as the other antenna. But there's another bee, and they're so cute with the little hearts on their back, and that's what they actually look like in real life.
Oh, thank you for getting me presents.
You always spoil me. I never want to take it for granted. Thank you so much for always thinking of me. It really makes my day. It makes my birthday. It's always so fun. I love presents for holidays and birthdays. Both giving and getting. Let's see. I was looking in here and that's not what I wanted. I wanted to actually put this one away because I'm done using this. All the rest of the bees are even smaller. Although I might use this for the flowers, but I don't know. It's still, I want the bees to stand out more. Well, I'm going to put it away for now anyway. We're not going to get to the flowers today, I don't think. And maybe we will. Well, I'll put it away for now. So next I want to use this zig. Hopefully, what if I like shake it? I'm going to shake it. I'm shaking it. I'm waggling it to try to get the ink to go down into the tip. Some of these bees are so small, I think I'll just use, I might not even just use these. I might go to my Pigma set, Sakura Pigma set, but for now, let's tackle this bee and this bee. Oh, those are the only two of that size. All the rest are even smaller. Well, 2 more bees. Let's see if waggling the pen with tip down helped with the ink. Nope, I don't get it. I don't get what's the problem with this. Why won't it write? Is this water-based ink? Will it help if I put it under the water? You know? Hold on. Let me look and see what kind of ink it is. There's so much ink in here. It would be such a waste. Let's see, zig. Extra fine black. It doesn't say what kind of ink it is. I'm going to Google it real quick. Let's take a look here. I'm going to go straight to jet pens because they are the best for finding details about ink and other things. So I'm going to search Cocoiro. Extra fine brush. I think that's what this is. Extra fine. LP. Yeah. So I'm going to click on this. So here it is on jet pens. And they always have this excellent tab. Oh, look. Ink composition. Dye-based. Water-based. So that probably means that it might help if I just put a little bit water on the tip. Maybe it needs to be refreshed. trying to see if it says anything about that. Well, it doesn't say anything about running it underwater, but I'm going to try it. Let's just try it real quick. So I'm going to mute my mic real quick. I'll be back in, I don't know, 30 to 60 seconds. It shouldn't take very long. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I am not going to try this on my main illustration. Let's see, move this. I'm going to put that illustration up, and I'm going to get one of my handy dandy scrap papers out of here. So I'm working out the water because of course it's going to absorb some water from being run under the water. Also, there's a little bit of water just on the tip still. Okay. I'm going to see if I can get it to return to what I... Oh, it's looking like it's doing it. That looks pretty good. Yay. Okay, let's try it on the main thing. Plug it back into the Cocoiro body first. Cap back on. That's why I have these little scrap papers in my sketch kit for weird moments like this. Okay. Just going to test it on the side here. Okay, it seems like it's gonna play nice, but it was dry first, that first second of drawing. We'll see. Alright, it's doing alright. Yay! Now we know. If you have a dry Cocoiro refill, go ahead and run it under the water to revive it. Yay! Awesome. Sweet, it's working really well now. Oh, I'm so happy that that's all it needed. It's like I kept saying, there was so much ink in this cartridge. It feels like such a waste to have to just throw it out or something. So I do have a refill ready for when this one runs out, but there's so much ink left. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, this one should be fuzzy. We've got the head, just barely visible. And then we shall... I wonder if keeping this on the end actually makes it worse and I just shouldn't do that. Maybe I'll just try that. I'm going to see what happens if I don't keep that on. Because it obviously didn't keep it from getting dry. So let's try the other way around and not use it. Alright, now let's draw these little teeny tiny antennae on here. This is the pair that I drew sticking up. It's a very different angle from most of them. Yay, kawaii. Cute. How much time do we have? Oh, we've got time. Let's try, I think this was the other bee that was about this same size. Yeah. So let's do this bee. I can bring my camera down even further. Don't fall down, picture. Stay. I could flip it over to do the antenna with the teeny tiny zig pen. Yeah, now that I'm using black ink on white paper, the automatic exposure for the main camera is working really well. It doesn't know what to do when I'm using weird colors and stuff. That's the smallest brush pen I have. So I think I should just go to a much smaller non-brush pen. Maybe even just keep using this for the rest of the bees. I could try something in between by pulling out my Sakura Pigma set. It's got a nice range of sizes here. So this one, it says 005, but what is that in millimeters? Does it say? It doesn't say. 005 on this set, which is a different brand. Let me take a look. Let's see if it wants to focus. I think it's about the same. So this is 005 in Sakura Pigma terms as well. This one's 0.8. That's got to mean 0.8 millimeters. I think the 05, no, might be the 10. What? The 10 is only 0.6. 12.8. I wish they would just not. This is 0.7. And I'm pretty sure this one is a full 1. Yeah, this is a full 1 millimeters. So in between, the halfway point between this one and this one is probably about a 5 or a 3, because it's somewhere like this. Yeah, I think 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So it's actually would be 5. So we'll use 5. This is in between these two sizes. Oh, but we're out of time. So I will just leave this out because I'm going to be coming straight back to this tomorrow. It's another illustration day. So I won't put this away. I'll leave it over here in between my other pens, so that I can come right back. Won't even clean up my workspace or anything. Okay, Trying to get this so you can see the final result. Wow, you can see the bees that I've been drawing all this time finally. The nice black ink. Yay. All right. So that's it for today. There's just a few of us here. So I'm not going to raid. We're just going to end the stream. I'll be back tomorrow, like I said, for another illustration stream, same time as usual. And you can check my schedule to see it in your time zone, my schedule on Twitch. I hope to see you then, but even if not, I want to wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for watching.